A description of reality. What does that mean? If you sift through all the information that is given to you through your consciousness, from a totally materialistic standpoint, discounting consciousness, the one thing that can most accurately be called a you is the brain. The brain is a blind sense organ that relies on the senses to deliver to it a description of reality. The senses are conveying an idea of sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. The brain does not experience these things directly, only through an interpretation, a description from the senses. A description is not the real thing, it is only a description. So even from a materialistic, scientific, atheistic standpoint, what you call life is an illusion. The illusions are not real. It is not real because it is only a description of what is real. What you call real is not a truth of reality. It is only an interpretation of reality that was named. Those that explore the unknown have to use language to describe the undescribable. These are known as the namers. These types of people are very rare. They appear in the world usually right before a revolution of consciousness takes place. It could be said that they facilitate this revolution of consciousness. They do this by renaming everything. They provide a new description of reality. Looking back, there are 3 stages of consciousness that we've been through already. We can't see any further back than 3, and they would be consciousness of non-awareness, consciousness of instinct awareness, and consciousness of self-awareness. With each stage, the data is processed more efficiently. But what makes data readable is language. So the data gets processed more efficiently as the language evolves. When the namer names something, they are essentially labeling a concept. Any perceptible or facet of awareness could be said to be a concept. The labels given can best be described as a power suggestion. It's a commanding suggestion, but a suggestion nonetheless, because the option of agreement or disagreement is still open to the receiver of that suggestion. Truth be told, your average human consciousness is very vulnerable to suggestions. Most people obey general commanded suggestions. If not, they are still open to be suggestively commanded, just by something that is a little more tailored to them. Suggestion commands always originate from a single speaker. There may be a tapestry of contributions compiled from the various namers of suggestions that all ultimately go into constructing an entire body of a cultural description, but all the various agreed upon conceptions within a description all originate from individuals. Creations all start from single sources. Innovations also start from single sources. A story is always told by a storyteller. A describer is one. Receivers of a description are many. Even mundane things like fashion, fads, trends, the latest slang words, all come from a single individual source that gets replicated by others. It's monkey see, monkey do. This is how the common monkey learns and establishes foundations. Then there is a rarer monkey. These types of monkeys have a unique feature where sometimes they just do without having seen. These are usually the kinds of original spontaneous vibrations that spread and get adapted by the rest of the monkeys, especially if it is or perceived as an enhanced or refined vibration. Anything any individual discovers that is beneficial or exciting to any aspect of consciousness will eventually spread to the collective. So once an agreement of a description of reality is reached, spoken word is then only regulated to discussing the agreement, or in trying to control portions of the agreement with different aspects of the agreement. A suggestion is made and an agreement is reached. Now that the agreement has been reached, suggestions can be made within the context of the overall agreement. And these are usually the deceptive suggestions commonly used to control people in an attempt to gain some type of material edge. This tactic could best be described as a suggested suggestion. This is a lesser use of the raw power of vibrational speech than the vibrational speech of naming, but is widely effective when a description of reality is fully complete. Whereas a power suggestion can create a labyrinth, a suggested suggestion can only offer navigational influence within a labyrinth. When collective consciousness has grown strong enough to unify under a single description, then it has outgrown that description. The old description is becoming less and less doable. A description of reality becomes outdated when there's nothing left to do with that description of reality but cling to it. It is not like consciousness to just cling and stagnate. So with the heightened awareness that comes with a master description, they begin to weave a new description. When a description is fully realized, then it is understood that a description is within a context. Understanding the context masters the description. The namers before us named the world and created a description. A rock became a rock. A cloud became a cloud. A tree became a tree. And naming the description created a language. Namers named things, and people either agreed or disagreed. To all those who agreed, a culture was born. The agreement on the description is what encompasses a language. After namers named things and a description was created, then language was used only to discuss what was agreed upon. But now, by fully agreeing on a description, there is nothing left to do. It's time to describe something else. If we come to an end of a book, does that mean our reading stops? The namers before us gave us a description, and that description is a material world, objects. And this is one of the elements that is in the next description of reality, is that we are not just objects. We have to start paying more attention to the thing that is aware of objects. It's nice that the namers named objects, but now we can name all objects as one. Yes, there is rock, cloud, and tree, but how different are rock, cloud, and tree if they are all energetic projections, all made out of the same stuff, but appearing in different forms. Things fall into new classifications, and ironically, this time around, the language used to set up the new description of reality will ultimately lead to less language spoken, to more silence. Silence is what clears out that which is named. It creates space. Space is needed for the new things that are named. A common trait of a namer is that they don't associate themselves or affiliate themselves with anything. This is why the everything that a namer is confronted by, to the namer, is just an empty canvas. There is nothing in the world that is too good to upgrade or change. It is namers who are the ones who usher in this change. The clarity needed for namers to create is found within silence. Within silence, there is nothing that dictates to you, nothing that holds you back. You are free from all worldly attachments and the implications and responsibilities that come from those worldly attachments. Not one thing, not family, not sex, not race, not religion, not culture, not even your idea of yourself, who you are supposed to be. Identified with absolutely nothing. This is fertile grounds for the expansion of consciousness, for creation.